Hello everyone, my name is Anya, and this video is going to be a little different to what I've done previously. To be perfectly honest, I was in mixed minds about whether I should do this video at all, as this is quite a sensitive topic and I'm not really sure how the public are going to react. But at the end of the day, I think it's important that I do talk about what happened on this day. So for this video, we're going to take a look at what happened on the 31st of January 1984. This is the story of Anne Lovett.
It was a cold day in Granard, County Longford. 15-year-old Anne Lovett got up early, dressed up in her school uniform, and left her home. The seventh of 9 children, she lived with her parents and 2 younger siblings at the Copper Pot pub in Main Street. She and her younger sister, Patricia, were students at the Knockmurra Secondary School. Anne never missed a day of school, her mother said later. She was described by friends and fellow students as a tomboy, lively and very artistic. She was a member of the school magazine committee. When Anne didn't come home for lunch that day with her sister, her parents assumed that she'd stay back at school to work on the magazine. But Anne had not stayed back at school that day. She was never at school in the first place. Anne had spent the majority of her day wandering around the town, more than likely thinking about her predicament. What predicament? Anne was 9 months pregnant, and she had hidden it from everybody she knew: her parents, her siblings, her friends, her teachers. While she had done her best to hide it, there were some people who did wonder and asked. Whenever she was questioned, she denied it, saying that she'd simply put on a little bit of weight. Anne spent the majority of her day walking around the town before arriving at the local grotto. And it was here, in the cold and the rain, that she gave birth, alone, to her 6.5-pound baby. Just after 4 p.m, 3 young boys were walking home from school when they found a school bag lying on the ground. They then heard moaning coming from the nearby grotto. There they found Anne, lying on the ground, her hands and knees bruised, blood on her legs. Beside her, wrapped up in her coat, was the tiny body of a stillborn baby boy. The 3 boys rushed to find help, and they alerted a local farmer, who rushed to get the parish priest. The priest's response to help was, "It's a doctor that you need." Nevertheless, the priest came and administered the last rites to Anne and baptised the baby boy, who appeared dead. Anne was wrapped up in blankets in an attempt to get her warm, and she was taken by car to the Copper Pot pub where she lived with her family. An ambulance was called, and her parents, though in shock, did their best to keep their daughter warm. Anne and her baby were rushed to Mullingar Hospital. But by then, it was already too late. On the 31st of January 1984, 15-year-old Anne Lovett was declared dead. It was determined that she had died as a result of a combination of irreversible shock, exposure, and postpartum hemorrhaging. The story would not be made known to the Irish public until 3 days after Anne and her child were laid to rest. A headline in the Sunday Tribune, "Girl 15 dies after giving birth in field," was the first introduction to Anne Lovett's story. Overnight, Granard was turned into a media zone. Statements made from school representatives claimed they had no knowledge of Anne's pregnancy. People kept quiet and refused to say anything to the media. An inquest was held into Anne and her baby's death in February 1984. At the inquest, her parents denied any knowledge of her pregnancy and refused to discuss anything. Inquiries later conducted by the Department of Education and the Gardaí Síochána have not been released to the public so far. The story of Anne Lovett was one of several stories examined during the 2018 referendum in Ireland, the 36th Amendment searching to legalise abortion in the country. In the end, 66.4% of the population voted to legalise the procedure. In the run-up to the referendum, Anne Lovett's former boyfriend came forward for the first time since the tragedy. He spoke about his relationship with Anne, which had been good, until one night she came to him with bruises on her legs after apparently being assaulted. He became aware of the rumours that Anne was pregnant, but she denied it to him. He also spoke about a letter written by Anne addressed to him, telling him that she was sorry. He also stated that he had been threatened and ordered to keep silent by the parish bishop. While he does not know for sure that he was the father of Anne Lovett's baby, he has lived with the tragedy for the rest of his life. The story of Anne Lovett was a tragic event that shook Ireland deeply, and it was part of a debate on women giving birth out of wedlock in the country. It's a tragedy that still leaves many questions onto how we could have allowed this to happen. And it's an event that should never, ever be forgotten.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really appreciate it. My name is Anya, and we just looked at what happened on this day.